You ever wonder why so many incredibly smart people do really foolish things? I mean, just self-destructive stuff. Well, it's a question that totally obsessed the legendary investor and thinker Charlie Munger. And he didn't just wonder about it, he spent his entire life building a toolkit of mental models, a system, really, to achieve what he called worldly wisdom. It's all about avoiding the common traps that get the rest of us. So let's explore the core of his incredible philosophy.
Okay, so at the very heart of Munger's whole philosophy is this one powerful idea. He said, you can't just collect isolated facts and expect to be wise. It doesn't work that way. To really get a handle on the world, you need a framework, a latticework, as he called it, to hang all your experiences and knowledge on. Think of it like a scaffold for your brain. And look, this isn't just about being smart in an academic sense, it's about being truly effective in life.
All right, so in this explainer, we're going to unpack 4 of the most powerful tools from Munger's mental toolkit. First, we'll talk about building that latticework of knowledge. Then, we'll get into this wild idea he had, invert, always invert. After that, we'll tackle the brain's dangerous shortcuts. And finally, we'll wrap up with what it means to play the long game.
Okay, so our first tool is all about building that latticework we just mentioned. Munger was convinced that the biggest mistake we all make in learning is treating knowledge like a big pile of disconnected facts, just cramming stuff in. He argued that to have any real wisdom, you've got to have a system, a way to organize it all.
And that's where mental models come in. So what are they? Well, basically, they're the most important, fundamental ideas from all the different major academic fields. Don't think of them as trivia you'd see on a game show. Think of them as the core concepts that really explain how the world actually works. They are the essential tools you need to think clearly about, well, pretty much any problem, whether it's in business, science, or just your own life.
And just look at the sheer breadth here. Munger was absolutely insistent that you need models from many different disciplines. And why is that so important? Well, it's because of his famous saying, "To the man with only a hammer, every problem looks like a nail," right? If you only know one thing, you try to solve every problem with that one tool, even when it's totally wrong. You end up torturing reality to fit your little perspective. That's why you need the big ideas from math and engineering, and, as we'll see, especially from psychology.
Okay, so once you start building that latticework, you can use our second tool. And this one is a perfect example of Munger's practical genius. It's called inversion, and it's a profoundly simple but unbelievably powerful technique for getting clarity, just by looking at problems completely backward.
All right, let's take a common goal, probably the biggest one for most of us, right? How do you achieve a happy and successful life? Now, if you ask most people that, they'll start listing all the things you should do. Get a good job, find the right partner, work really hard, that kind of thing. But Munger, he'd take that question and flip it completely on its head. He learned this from the great algebraist Jacobi, whose motto was, invert, always invert. So Munger would say the better question, the more useful question, is what guarantees a miserable life? And the logic here is just brilliant. It's often way easier to figure out what will absolutely ruin you and then just avoid it than it is to perfectly define success. As he put it, avoiding stupidity is a lot easier than seeking brilliance. And he wasn't just being abstract about this. In one of his famous speeches, he actually laid out specific prescriptions for guaranteed misery. Things like, well, like you see here, ingest chemicals to alter your mood, let envy and resentment drive you, be completely unreliable. By clearly identifying these surefire paths to failure, all you have to do is, well, not do them. So the key takeaway here is pretty profound. Sometimes the surest way to win the game is just to make sure you don't lose.
This brings us to our third set of tools. And honestly, this might be the most important part of the whole system. See, Munger was absolutely obsessed with understanding the psychology of human misjudgment. He knew our brains aren't perfect, rational computers. Not at all. They're full of bugs, biases, and mental shortcuts that can lead us, just disastrously astray, especially in the modern world.
So his method for dealing with this was something he called a 2-track analysis. It's pretty straightforward. When you're looking at any situation, first you have to analyze track 1, the rational factors. The numbers, the real interest, the actual probabilities, the stuff you'd put on a spreadsheet. But then, and this is the step almost everyone misses, you have to analyze the second track, all those powerful, subconscious psychological forces that are messing with everyone's thinking.
And one of the most powerful of these subconscious forces is what he called incentive-caused bias. Munger thought this was basically a superpower in the world.
You know the old Ben Franklin saying, if you would persuade, appeal to interest, not to reason? That's the heart of it. But it's deeper than that. Incentives don't just motivate people, they literally change how people think. They cause people to rationalize truly terrible behavior just to get what they want. The classic Federal Express case is the perfect example of this in action. Their whole business model depended on the night shift sorting all these packages super fast. So they tried everything. Moral persuasion, threatening people, nothing worked. The planes were always delayed. So what was the fix? It was simple. They stopped paying workers by the hour and started paying them a flat rate per shift. And they told them, as soon as the work is done, you can go home. And Munger said the problems cleared up literally overnight. The lesson is so clear. You have to get the incentives right. Always.
Okay, another huge one is social proof tendency. This is basically our automatic monkey see, monkey do instinct. It's this deep-seated tendency we all have to think and act just like the people around us, and it gets even stronger when we're confused or stressed out. Now look, it's a mental shortcut that helps us navigate the world most of the time, but it can also make us follow the herd right off a cliff.
The classic elevator experiment just shows you how ridiculously powerful this is. So here's the setup. A test subject walks into an elevator, but everyone else in there, who are all actors, is facing the rear. What do you think happens? Well, more often than not, the person, even though they know it's weird and it feels wrong, will slowly turn around and face the rear too. It's incredible. We're just wired to conform. And if you don't understand that about yourself, you are a prime target for groupthink.
So, okay, we've got the Latticework, we've got inversion, and we've got these powerful psychological models. But here's the thing, none of these tools are going to work for you without the right underlying philosophy. The final piece of Munger's toolkit is all about the mindset. It's about playing the long game.
And Munger, well, he did not mince words about how high the stakes are here. He famously said that trying to go through life without these mental models is like being a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest. I mean, you can't get much clearer than that, can you? You are putting yourself at a profound, almost insurmountable disadvantage.
So what does this mindset actually look like? Well, first off, it's not a short-term hack. It's a long-term discipline. It means being a true lifelong learner. I mean, Munger was mastering modern Darwinism in his 70s. It means having intellectual humility, knowing what you don't know. And it's this amazing combination of two things that seem like opposites. Having extreme patience to just sit and wait for the right opportunity, and then having extreme decisiveness to bet big when it finally shows up.
And this is so important to understand. Munger's whole approach, it was never just a guide to making money in the stock market. Not at all. He was building a complete system for thinking. A system for achieving that thing he called worldly wisdom. These tools are for navigating the incredible, messy complexities of life itself.
You know, Munger's entire life was a testament to the power of just trying to become a little bit wiser every single day. So the real question he leaves for all of us isn't just about what we've learned here, it's about what we're going to do with it. So what's the first model you're going to add to your own mental lattice work?